We saw Adidas freeze my accounts. We saw me get debanked. And you think if that can happen to someone like me, what's happening to all of America? What's happening to all the world? And the world saw it and no one's saying anything. None of the celebrities, this just shows you all celebrities are controlled.
If I show you and tell you that we are pedophiles and you continue to buy our products, then you're supporting pedophilia, and you're obviously okay with us being pedophiles. If I do it hidden behind your back, then you can argue and say, I didn't know they were pedophiles. But by showing you, I've shown you I'm a pedophile, you still want to wear my t-shirt. So obviously what I'm doing is okay. When you understand the idea of karmic retribution, you can apply that to so many scenarios. They're doing this with everything.
Balenciaga has exposed that we are in a moral freefall. It holds up as a mirror to the West, as a cultural collective. Why? Because Balenciaga is not just clothing, it is a cultural force. And as such a force, this mishap begs the question, how far will we let our morality fall in favor of maintaining our selfish desires and hungers? In this climate of hypersubjectivity and nihilism where culture has been completely deracinated and we are existing in a post-God era, Balenciaga simply stands as yet another checkpoint in the decline of moral humanity, prompting that we must think about the direction that our collective morality is taking. The demigods of modern culture, celebrities, athletes, and entertainers generally have nothing to say. Certainly not as much as has been said and seethed about of other topics in the past few years. The machine is working to save Balenciaga will walk away from this unscathed. In fact, I propose that Balenciaga will maintain and even grow in profit. If I could purchase equity shares in Balenci's right now, I would. Why? Because all PR is good PR. Because our morality is frail and vacuous. Because ultimately, this really doesn't stand out as much of a violation of today's moral framework. It fails to inspire true action from the collective herd. Because we live in a culture where we secretly fetishize everything that we absolutely revile. We perversely condone it because our moral faculties have grown superficial and filthy, and perverse to say the least. I actually love Balenciagas. I love high fashion. I'm a strong believer in aesthetics, quality, and taste. I do not wish for Balenciagas to go bankrupt. I'm simply reflecting on Balenciaga as a cultural icon and how it reflects on the current state of morality, predominantly in the West, but also universally. Because the West is a global exporter of culture. The problem at hand is not to do with Balenciagas per se. You could take any other high fashion brand and replace it with Balenciaga. Put them in the exact same position and the result would be the same, because the core has grown corrupt. Looking at Kanye West, it is quite evident that if an individual or organization, no matter of what stature, is needed to be excised from the mainstream institutions of society, it can very easily be accomplished. Yes, Balenciaga will continue to remain a favorite in the predominant cultural forces as currently held by reality TV show stars and in hip-hop and music generally. As a cultural profit-generating vehicle, it simply is too big to fail. We will continue to celebrate it and wear it on our bodies. We will remain the consumer vessel that represents its values and continue to let it define and shape our identities. Balenci's will still be a good gift for birthdays and anniversaries, because fact of the matter is that our morals have dilapidated and we are all too self-interested. We are desensitized to the most demonic of evils, among other things, and we've grown morally apathetic. We just don't care. Definitely not enough to sacrifice a high-end luxury brand to make an example out of it for the greater good of our moral sensibilities. Again, I love Balenciagas. It really might as well have been any other brand. It doesn't matter. We simply must ask ourselves, why? Who does this make us that we will do nothing? Because the silence, the failure to effect any serious change at the core of the culture is deafening. The responsibility falls on none other than us as a collective, because the collective is the consumer. The collective dictates the power of trends. The collective empowers its heroes. It is the collective whole of us that breeds monsters and sustains their untouchability. The merits that Balenciaga has as a fashion brand is certainly astounding. The individuals who brought it to life and continue to bring it to life deserve their accolades, but it is worth noting that this will eventually be memory hold and we will have done nothing. However, in choosing to let it slide, to forget. We are making a choice. If this moral freefall is ever to be stopped, we need to acknowledge the state of our moral faculties as being and increasingly becoming a perverse joke, because at the root of the degradation of the collective moral paradigm lies a fundamental lack of acknowledgement, apathy, and a neurotic and corrosive germ of narcissism.
It's not that serious, bro.